What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be chatting about something that we have just been noticing a lot recently, feeling a lot, and we just saw a study that basically said that we just experienced the hottest July on record since the records began back in 1895.
Right, yeah. So in the United States specifically, we had the hottest July recorded by NOAA since records began in 1895. That is insane.
That is insane.
It speaks volumes to
Oh,
it speaks volumes to the fact that climate change is here. We're experiencing it right now. It's not a future problem. It's not something that's going to happen down the line. We are witnessing the impact of it right now.
yes.
And this heat has been unbearable. I mean, every time we go outside, it's like,
Yeah, it's like walking out into an oven,
yeah,
literally. That's how it
literally.
feels. It's like you step out of the house and you're walking into like a wall of heat,
Yeah,
basically.
facts. Like actually, like without air conditioning, honestly, parts of the Southeast United States and just the country generally might be uninhabitable.
Honestly.
I mean, I can't even imagine. The heat index here is over 90, humidity, it is miserable. Like I can't even fathom what it would be like if we didn't have air conditioning. It's
Yeah, genuinely.
just crazy.
I mean, right now it's almost 6 o'clock at night and it's 90 degrees here.
And that's not even
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, but anyway, like that, we're feeling it. We're feeling it. We're seeing it even in like the rain patterns. We're
Yeah.
not getting as much rain because it's all potentially just evaporating because of the heat.
Yeah, well, that was something that was chatted about in that article, was that there are these things that have been forming a lot more this year, which were called heat domes, essentially
Oh, tell me
where
more about
the heat, that's getting pushed through with the weather patterns, it's not moving. It's not like continuing to move away. Instead, because the airstream is unbalanced because of climate change, the heat domes are just sitting on top of places for long periods of time. And it's just hot. It's just baking for days, weeks on end. And yeah, that's essentially what helped cause us to have the hottest July on record.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's insane. And like even not even just the US, other countries as well have been experiencing insane heat waves. I mean, the UK experience, I mean, that's just the UK, but Europe
Yeah, it was
generally
France,
experienced
Germany,
like
I
five
mean,
separate heat waves across July,
Yeah,
which
and not
is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, unheard of. I mean, we're in unprecedented times, really, truly, right now. And not only that, but those places had immense amounts of wildfires as well.
Yes.
And I mean, I saw a satellite map that showed just like the greenery in those places before and after the summer started, and it was night and day. It was like everything green in the spring, and then when summer started, everything is
Wow.
like brown and dusty.
Oh my
and
gosh. Yeah, because it's so dry. It's so hot and
dry.
dry that nothing is able to like absorb water and absorb nutrients
Exactly.
from the earth
Yeah.
because it's just like so dead and dry underneath.
Yeah,
So
100%. And I mean, in the United States right now, we have over 200 wildfires that are burning throughout the United States, specifically on like the West Coast. Washington, Oregon are dealing with a lot of wildfires. And, this is just a small note, but it's pretty crazy to think that this administration would withhold federal funding for disaster relief for Americans that are dealing with wildfires. When you are in the United States as an American, when you're paying taxes into our system, you expect that our federal government will be there for you in case of a disaster.
of course.
So it is absolutely unacceptable that this administration would withhold those funds for the people in Washington and in Oregon who are dealing with these wildfires simply because they didn't vote for the president in the last election. It's treasonous, honestly.
Yeah, genuinely.
60,000 people were evacuated from their homes in Oregon, and the federal government is withholding funds for that disaster relief. It's just unacceptable.
Absolutely
Just disgusting. But yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
People are getting evacuated from their homes. There's wildfires burning in the United States and in Canada. And then the smoke from that wildfire is now blowing over the rest of the United States as well. So there are, again, a ton of implications to this heat, a ton of implications to these fires. And we, the people, are experiencing the implications of that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
The smoke out there, it's also just contributing to poor air quality. I mean, we've
Yeah.
looked at the air quality map on the like weather app, and
Yeah.
across the entire United States, it's basically all in the yellow, and
Yeah.
some areas it's even worse in the red and purple, which is just like further degraded air quality. And
Exactly.
mostly out west in Oregon, in Washington State, in Idaho as well, we've seen a lot of really poor air quality
Yeah.
due to the wildfires that are spreading across the Pacific Northwest and up into Canada right now.
Yeah, exactly. And not even to mention all of the environmental protections that this administration has been rolling back. So
True.
can you talk about some of the cuts they've made to our wildfire prevention efforts?
Yeah, I mean, well, you had already mentioned they withheld millions of dollars in wildfire prevention funds, which,
Yep.
like you said, just absolutely despicable.
Yeah.
The fact that they would use political, like, I guess, what's the word that I want to use? I don't even know.
Yeah.
But anyway, but like using that to further put down other states.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else was there? The Trump administration also plans to close 20 separate offices which are dedicated to wildfire prevention. So
yeah, as we know, they made serious cuts to the National Park Service. We know they've been selling off national parks lands to oil and gas drilling. But on top of that, they've also been closing the offices and firing the employees who are working in our national forests to help try and prevent forest fires and these sorts of wildfires from happening. So again, the administration is essentially obviously hurting the public by closing these offices that are dealing with prevention, because then now we're seeing the ramification of when you remove those levels of prevention. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, like Millie said, you're also firing people who are there to protect against wildfires and be monitoring the areas that maybe are more typical for wildfires to break out. So you're not really having anyone who's there to make sure that, the environment is being protected and that, there's not too much brush or anything like that that's going to catch fire from a lightning strike or just...
Exactly. And it's just like, again, in these times where we know that it is extremely hot, every year we're having hottest year on record, breaking records every year for hottest year, hottest this, hottest that. It's so obvious that forest fires, wildfires, those sorts of things are going to continue to become more and more common in our society.
Definitely.
The more we are not addressing the root causes of our extreme heat that we're experiencing. And so again, if you're going to then defund the programs that are put in place to try and protect against these things, that hand in hand with not changing our practices as humans, it's going to lead to detriment for us. It's going to cost a ton of people their lives, unfortunately.
Absolutely. It's just absolutely disgusting. Another one here. So Lake Mead, which is the country's largest reservoir, actually hit record lows last week as well.
Yeah.
And that lake also supplies water to 20 million people in the southwestern United States.
Yeah, that's crazy. Again, it's just hand in hand with the drought, hand in hand with the heat. The heat is evaporating the water from our water sources, and we are seeing these water sources being diverted for things like data centers. And on top of the heat, there just simply isn't enough water to go around. And the data centers are taking a ton of water from these sorts of things. And again, society, do you want drinking water? Do you want food? Or do you want to be able to generate AI images? Like, that is what we're talking about here. Like, that is the threat level that we're dealing with already in the United States. Like, we shouldn't want it to get to the point where there's severe water shortages or severe outages of water for us to then start trying to take action. We can take action now to prevent it from getting to that point.
Facts.
But yeah, I mean, Lake Mead being that low, it's a threat to 20 million people who could potentially be without water.
Right.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's scary. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people don't really think about water scarcity or what you would do if you don't have access to clean drinking water.
Yeah.
Like, that is just another even expense you're going to have to add on, and think about how
Yeah.
much people are going to be buying up bottled water
It's going
at
to be hard
every
to grab
single
it.
store. It's going
Yeah.
to be tough. It's going to be like the toilet paper in 2020, you know, like that's going to be how the water is going to be out of all of the stores, off the shelves. People are going to
Yeah.
be scooping it up, and then,
Yep.
you know, that's just further
And that's just the tip
pushing
of the
people to the
iceberg,
edge,
for
you
real.
know?
That's
Yeah, it's just
that's
the
going
tip
to
of
be
the
the tip of the
iceberg.
iceberg, because then you got people getting, well, anyway, we'll get into more of that when the time comes. But again, like what we're talking about with the heat, right? And with the drought that's causing, you would think that humans are like, all right, we got to start switching over to clean energy sources to try and slow down our progression here. Well, that just simply isn't happening. The Trump administration has cut $7.6 billion from clean green energy projects in the United States. So we had an administration previously that was looking into the reality of clean energy and trying to bring clean energy to remove some of this reliance on oil. And then, again, clean energy pollutes the environment less. So that's what the goal was with that. This administration
Naturally.
blocking $7.6 billion in clean renewable energy sources, it's just further preventing humans from addressing this massive issue that is looming
Facts.
over our head, which is climate change. We have to address climate change.
Absolutely.
This is not something that can be pushed off for another decade, not even another 5 years. It has to be addressed now. And switching over to clean renewable energy sources is honestly the only way our species survives. So this isn't something that we can afford to continue delaying. We have to make these changes now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're just not seeing that happening. We're just not seeing it happening because, I mean, Amazon, they own a site in Texas.
Yeah.
And they just received a permit to release 33 million tons of CO2.
Yeah. Wow.
That, I mean, it's backwards. We're not even trying to fix the problems with the environment.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of that with the AI data centers as well, right? We saw the XAI data center had like, I don't know what it was, 20 plus gas turbines that were on 24/7, just constantly polluting.
That's crazy.
And data centers, we know now, they actually create a heat, like I think it's also called a heat dome, but essentially around the area of the data center, it actually makes the surrounding area hotter because of the heat that is reverberating off of the machines running in there. So again, so now you've got like all of these things are just adding up, right? The data centers are taking water, they're making it hotter, and on top of that, they're using so much energy, which is just further burning that oil, burning that gas, which is just further polluting our air.
Yeah, again, not even to mention the pollution that's being caused by that and the health implications for the people in the surrounding area.
Right.
I mean, I've heard that the smell around data centers is disgusting. I've heard it's hard to breathe around them because it smells so bad.
Right. And the reason I bring up the data center specifically is because the Trump administration is also diverting what was the amount? They're diverting somewhere in here. Anyway, they're diverting millions of dollars from universities. So what would go towards scientific research, scientific funding, they're removing that money from college campuses, and they're going to invest that money into, if you found it, you could say.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was just billions. It's just they're redirecting billions. There was no like specific
so
number.
over $1 billion in scientific research, and they're shifting that over to AI infrastructure, which again doesn't benefit the people of the United States, and again isn't addressing any of the climate implications. We haven't seen a single data center or AI company, we haven't seen a single one of them talk about their environmental implications or the heat that they are adding to our atmosphere. And again, look at what's happening. Drought, heat waves, hottest month on record.
Yeah.
And we're just going to continue to see that unless changes are made in these departments.
Yeah, 100%. They need, I mean, and we just see everything going further and further backwards right now.
Yeah.
With all of the I guess like loosening of policies surrounding climate change and addressing things where, CO2. I mean, we had talked about Let's see, because the Trump administration is also pushing for the construction of 82 new gas burning plants to power data centers. And this would release as much pollution as half of all the passenger vehicles in the United States.
And honestly, for me, like that just highlights that on an individual level, there's really not shit we can do.
What can
right?
we do?
Like what are we as individuals supposed to do? Our paper straws are never going to move the needle at all. Not when billionaires are acting like this. Not when Amazon is going to put that many millions of tons of CO2 into the atmosphere just because they can. Just because they literally don't give a shit. And that is a massive problem.
Absolutely.
Like the billionaire class, the reality is they pollute more than anybody, not only with their corporations, with their businesses, but with their private flights, with their yachts, with all of the things that they do in their extravagant lifestyles. They are quite literally destroying the planet more than any of us. Their air flights in a single year, all of their private flights, it's like 20 times all of our carbon emissions from our cars added together.
Yeah.
Just the billionaire class. So, I mean, we're cooked. I really don't know what the solution would be. It's like, how do you get billionaires to grow a conscience? How do you get the ultra wealthy to care about the planet we live on and not want to destroy it? Like, it's baffling to me that people are not understanding that and don't have the foresight to see that if we destroy our current habitat, that is the end of our species.
I know.
The moon, Mars, all that sci-fi shit, that won't happen. That isn't happening. Musk hasn't even gotten his spaceships out of our atmosphere.
So
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, there's nowhere to go if Earth becomes uninhabitable. And it is becoming hotter and hotter every year.
Every single year.
And you said the oceans were hotter than ever too, right?
Yeah, they recorded the highest ocean temperatures in July as well. Yeah. And they also found that with the El Nino that is going to be hitting this year, it's also potentially going to be bringing the highest sea levels ever recorded to the California coast, which is going to further basically degrade their beach. It's going to be I can't think of words, but basically it's going to be pulling sand out and making their beaches smaller and like thinner and pushing the ocean more towards the houses and infrastructure that is in the surrounding areas.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
and I mean, again, warmer ocean, warmer water equals stronger hurricanes, right?
Yep.
It's just hurricane fuel. So that's the reality of our oceans being warmer as well. And yeah, it's just, again, humans, we have to address these issues now. We continue to push it off. It's been a century now since climate scientists first started ringing the alarm bells about the changes that were happening. And now we are experiencing it firsthand. The droughts, the lack of water, this extreme heat, it's not normal. They want us to be distracted by our day-to-day jobs and the fact that we have to pay bills and stuff. They want us to be so distracted that we're not realizing that our planet is becoming uninhabitable around us. We're seeing earthquakes, we're seeing fires. Like these sorts of things are being escalated by climate change. There's no way around it. There's no beating around the bush around the facts anymore. We are causing the degradation of our own ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that individuals have such a small impact on the climate, on being able to change anything with bringing down the impacts and effects of climate change. It's really unfortunate because, like Millie had said, we really don't impact the environment the same way as the billionaires do, as these companies do, as the administration does in their rollbacks of their policies and things. So it really is like, it's tough. So what can people, like, what can people do?
I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody to use a freaking paper straw. You know what I mean? I think that's an absolute joke. And that's a corporate strategy to try and flip the responsibility back onto us and
Yeah.
not on the people who are actually polluting our environment. Again, it's brutally tough because it's hard to boycott Amazon, right?
Yeah.
People obviously appreciate the convenience. You can get the shit you need. But the reality is that Jeff Bezos is essentially the devil. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how else to describe that. He pays his workers poverty wages. And on top of that, Amazon subcontracts delivery drivers to avoid paying them as full-time employees. That's why we see people in their like family cars delivering packages as well. And again, that is one of the richest people on the planet who is paying poverty wages to their employees.
Yeah.
He's an awful person, no conscience, no social awareness, no anything, barely human. We can order from Amazon less, or consolidate your Amazon orders into one order.
Yes.
Cut down your consumptions, go back to the store. Like, we also need to avoid like the convenience, the leisure of convenience, right? Go and get your own stuff. Get back out there. Let's start defunding some of these billionaires.
Yeah.
Don't use AI. AI is garbage. It's slop. It's bullshit. You don't need it in your life. It's actually scientifically, they've already proven that AI is slowing down the brain function of humans and making you dumber.
100%. AI makes you dumber because you're not actually thinking with your own brain. You're just using AI to say, okay, how do I do this? And then AI says, here's how you do it. You don't have to go and figure anything else on your own.
Exactly.
And
so limit the consumption of that, cut down on your searches of that. You really don't need it. The next element is going to be like the food, right? We can all cut down on our meat consumption, eat more vegetables, do those sorts of things. That also impacts climate change because we know they're cutting down large portions of the Amazon and all of those, the amount of land and water that's needed to cultivate cows and poultry and livestock. It's a ton. It's a shit ton. So
yeah, I mean, they clear areas of the Amazon rainforest, of other rainforests, just to grow the crops that they need for the food for cows, for chickens, for pigs.
That's all food. If that same land was cultivated for direct human consumption, we would have even more food than we have, and more than enough food to feed our entire population. And I think that that's one of the things that humans forget, is that there is more than enough on our planet to feed everybody. The reason there is this false scarcity is because of the ultra wealthy parasites that pit us all against each other by limiting the supply of food. Farmers literally throw away fruits and vegetables every year.
Yeah.
And they do so because governments force them to, because they can't profit off of that excess. So they destroy the food instead of feeding people with it.
Yeah.
So again, like, it is a human issue. So if we control more of our consumption, manage where we're putting our money when it comes to the things that we eat and when it comes to the businesses that we prop up, those are the ways we can fight back.
Yes.
We essentially have to try and cut the funding of the billionaires at the ankles by not supporting their businesses.
Yeah, it's true, because genuinely the only way that they will feel any sort of impact from people is through their wallets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't care about anything about us other than our money. So if we are withholding our money from their businesses, not buying from Amazon, not buying from any of these other huge, I mean, I don't know what other examples are, but Amazon, big one.
Yeah.
Especially just, I mean, the deliveries, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, cutting down on that. I forget where I was going. So if you had something.
Yeah, another thing is just kind of what we always talk about is representatives, right? We have people in our government right now that currently are not representing the will of the American people and are not addressing the realities of the changes in our climate. I mean, they've tried to defund so many things that involve just recording of the changes in our climate. So again, that's massively dangerous for the people who are living in these areas. So force your legislators to care about these issues. If someone does not have climate change on the ballot, you should not be voting for them. Every single politician should be chatting about how they plan to address climate change and how they plan to address potential water shortages. Those should be at the top of everybody's list. And if a politician can't talk about those things or doesn't think it's a serious issue, do not vote for them. That is the other element. We have to stop hiring terrible people for these sorts of jobs, because then they are administering terrible legislation onto us, which is impacting our lives. And again, they will always have the access to water and stuff in their nice cushy jobs and their nice position, right? It is the American people that will suffer. So we have to demand better from our representatives, from our politicians, and force them to care about the issues we care about, or we will replace them immediately.
Yeah.
And that has to be the threat.
That has to be the vibe.
Yeah.
That's just what we have to do, because I mean, you can be a single issue voter. That's okay. If you want to just make that climate change your issue that you want to vote for, you could do that, and just make sure you pay attention to that on the people that you're voting for.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I don't want to be harsh with this, but if you're still denying climate change in 2026 with all the evidence we have, you're actually an idiot. That's all I have to say. You actually are incapable of like critical thought. There's no excuse to be denying the very observable reality that we are all experiencing every time we step outside.
Facts.
Like, spare me with that bullshit. I'm so tired of people in there spewing out garbage and these lies, talking about it's fear mongering about the climate. What do you mean? It is 100 degrees and has been so since like the end of spring. It is not normal.
No.
I have a lake near my house. It has literally drying up. Lakes are drying up. Our water sources are drying up before our eyes. This is not a joke.
No.
Clean drinking water is a necessity for life. Data centers are not.
No. Absolutely not. Yeah. Period. Yeah. So don't do AI searches as much as you can. Use -AI on Google when you're doing your search. At least it doesn't do the AI on your initial search. You can't really control some of the other things, but it's a little thing that you can do just to
it's little things, right? Yeah. All of us can really do is just little things. All we can do is little things to try and cut down on our consumption. And that's really all that we can do, because the reality is, until we're ready to truly eat the rich and address the billionaire leech class that is destroying our planet and environment in front of our faces, we won't truly make progress. But in the meantime, yes, the best we can do, get that fuel efficient car or get that electric car, cut down on your meat and poultry consumption, try your best to avoid Amazon, or if you have to order from Amazon, order in one bulk order and cut down on your individual orders. Those are just some of the things we can do. Try and grow some of your own food at home. Honestly, don't do AI search. I mean, like, those are just small things that, like, on an individual basis we could do. But obviously we also have to make demands of the politicians and make demands of the billionaires. We need to make billionaires afraid of being billionaires. That's the reality.
Honestly, if nobody should be a billionaire.
No one should. And if we make them afraid, you'll be surprised at how quick they'll start giving out their money to start fixing these problems, or stop taking all these private flights, or stop buying all these yachts. Again, if we don't force them to make the change, they're not going to do it.
No.
They are predatory. They are leeches. They do not care about the masses of society. Again, you cannot become a billionaire without labor exploitation and wage withholding. That is how every single billionaire has gotten there. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Rihanna, all of them, Taylor Swift, all of them are societal leeches on our system. They're not good people. They need to be giving their money back to fix the issues in our planet. Their very existence is part of what is causing the strain on our planet. Those flights, their expenditures, the billionaire class alone, are obliterating our planet. And then they are tricking the rest of the public with propaganda so that we don't address the true root of all of our problems.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, and I feel like so many people idolize the billionaire class and people that are in the billionaire class. So that is also something that, like, we as a society need to unlearn and be like, no, they are not doing anything for us. So why do we idolize them and worship them like they're these like phenomenal people?
I know.
When they're not actively doing anything to make your life better.
I know. Literally none. There is no reason why Jeff Bezos, the second richest person on the planet, can't be building wind farms or a solar farm with his extreme wealth and using that to power his data centers. There's no reason he's not doing that. The only reason he's not doing that is because it wouldn't maximize his profit, because he is a sick leech. That's the reason he doesn't pay his employees a livable wage, and why the American taxpayers have to subsidize his employees' lives with our tax dollars. That is the sort of people we're dealing with. So that is why we know that they don't care. They don't care about us. Nothing is going to trickle down. They're not going to start changing things unless we make demands of them. And we will make demands of them, one, by boycotting their businesses, but also only putting in politicians that will force them to do the right thing. And you see that with what Zoran is doing right now in New York, capable, right? He just is in the process of winning a lawsuit to get Uber Eats employees paid their proper share of their taxes.
Wow.
Because the corporation was stealing from the workers. Surprise to no one.
I know. Surprise.
I'm telling you, these corporations do not give a shit. It is up to us and the people we employ to represent us to demand change from them to slow down this climate crisis before it is too late.
Facts. Yeah. Simply put.
Yeah. Yeah. So with all of that said, those were our thoughts on July being the hottest month on record in history in the United States. Baffling.
Absolutely.
The planet continues to heat up. Climate change is the root cause of that. Humans, we're the ones doing it, and we're not even starting to address the issue.
Not at all.
These are scary times.
Just ignoring it.
Yeah.
So,
scary times. But yeah,
truly.
That's all.
Yeah. So if you made it this far,
thanks for watching.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.